at some point you can't do everything yourself. And why having a co-founder is so valuable, because you guys complement each other in all the right ways. Like exactly where I think the skill gaps are, at least the way that Anthony described it when I first met him, was like, hey, like I bring a lot of the content chops to the business. Rob brought the product marketing, and we're learning a lot from each other, but like we kind of have our zones. Erica and I are in the exact same boat. And that immediately creates capacity in your life and in your business. And then...
And to interject, like the thing that maybe this will evolve over time, and we used to joke, we still do the same things. Like there's this closeness because you're iterating so much that it doesn't work if it's like, all right, Anthony, go create pipeline. Good luck with content this week. I'm going to be ready building the process. They go so hand in hand that you have to be doing both. So even if I had to learn content, steeper learning curve for me, like doing it provides so much more context for both of us to make decisions. And so the negative angle is like, yeah, all successful businesses have two CEOs, but that's the role Anthony and I both play. Like we are doing both things, and that may evolve over time. But and then the second piece into this is like when you talk about delegating, it comes back to process. Like, do you have a structured process? And like when you do, that's a signal. I could probably hire for that, or I could probably automate that. If you don't, coming back to the custom, are you being specific enough? If you struggle to come up with processes and really define frameworks,
it's not even process on the internal process is one thing, but I think what you're more hitting on is, are you selling an actual defined
great catch. It is it's more what I'm selling. Yeah. Are you selling the same thing? Are you delivering it the same every way? Not, what do we do when someone wants a contract? Sure, that's an admin one. So Anthony pulled out the golden part of that.
I appreciate how much you guys are open about, hey, we started with like the April Dunford approach to positioning. That was like our core thinking. That was the mental scaffolding we went into this with. And then over time, it becomes ours. And this idea of borrowed to bespoke frameworks and thinking and all the stuff, I think is also very lost on a lot of people, because they go, I don't have my own positioning framework like Fletch. It's like, no one has their own anything. Everyone has to borrow something, and then you run the play and you go, that didn't work for me. That didn't produce the outcome for the client that I was looking for. So I'm going to change that thing. This produced nothing. Let's throw it in the trash. Let's try a different one. And you do this over and over and over again. Having run my process with like over 100 solopreneurs at this point, it's like, I saw that happen. And then to hear you say, hey, yeah, we started with this thing and we've iterated on this thing ruthlessly over the course of years. It's like another data point. It's like, this is the only way. I think this is the only way you're going to get there, is if you pick something and are committed to making it work, and in turn, you will make it your own.
And it's so painful, Nick.
Yeah.
Like Anthony and I, like it comes up even now where we get to these points where like, man, the framework's so good. And then one of us or both of us stumble into the edge cases and we're like, the thinking here is not so clear. And it's one of these weird things where we both dread and get really excited by these calls. We're like, maybe every 6 weeks, I'll just call Anthony up and be like, I think this is broken. I think we got to change things. We'll get into this constructive debate. And then by the end of the call,
I just called Erica like a week ago.
That's happening with us like at least every day, every other day right now.
I think it was Monday. I was like, okay, the whole workbook.
It's all
I just
broken.
rebuilt it. I just redid the whole thing.
If you guys were separate though, you would not do that. So our opinion is the biggest unlock
Completely
is that,
agree.
for example, I was listening to April Dunford, and again, any critique I have of April comes from a place of deep admiration. We would not exist if it was not for her. She's the OG. Rob has joked around the whole we're second, so we try harder. She's the number one. We are the far distant second potentially. So anything I say, it's covered with of that as the covering or whatever. But April, I've heard her talk about her model, and she says people really struggle to understand what I mean when I say differentiated value. And then she proceeds to give a definition of it that is incredibly vague and could be interpreted 10 different ways. And I'm like, I wonder if they struggle to understand it because it makes sense to you in your mind, because you've done 200 positioning projects and you never had to fully offload this to someone else to make it bulletproof. And the thing that Rob and I have benefited from day one is the moment one of us has a brilliant idea and then we share it, and the other person who's not inside of the other person's head says, I don't understand it. Mm-hmm. And then we're so incredibly frustrated. Why don't you get this? This is so clear. And our running joke is we say it's like a total black box. So like we would send something, and then Rob would send back the emoji of the black cube, just being like, "This is a black box." And we used to
You've
do
automated
take turns.
your brainstorming
Yeah.
sessions.
we used to take turns running the workshops together. So we would be on every workshop for a long time. We would be on every workshop together, but one of us would take the lead. So the other person would always see it. So we'd both do the same sessions together. So I would do the workshop in my head. I'm like, I am effing killing this. Like, this is so amazing. And then as I'm talking, I'm getting all fired up. I get a message on the side from Rob, just 10 black boxes, just bam, 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 like this. No idea what you're doing.
These are our first 100 projects,
That is
though. It was like, let's
brutal.
figure it out.
I love it.